Divine masculine feminine balance. This time in relationships. Yeah, tricky one sometimes. So, at any time that we've got, you say you, lack of a better word, normal masculine and feminine, there's quite the difference between their respective positions. So that can cause a lot of emotional imbalances, ups and downs in the relationship because the individual hasn't sorted out their own imbalances and their own health, and they're doing their work. So, and what I've noticed is when I was much like a normal masculine before waking up, I had quite a lot of problems with relationships as well because my feminine was a disaster, really. Emotional stuff was not sorted, organ imbalances just had flow-on effects. But as myself, feel free to use an example of the current or previous relationships and relate it to that, as I'm sure you'll find some similarities. I'm pretty sure of that. So, and then when I was still in just my unawakened masculine state, I had a relationship with a beautiful goddess who had done a fair bit of work on her divine feminine. So she'd raised her vibration, had so much love, it was absolutely beautiful. But because I hadn't raised my frequency and done some of my work, there was a big difference here. There's still a big gap. And as a result, you know how the universe of the yin and yang likes to come back to balance, then I needed really big signs to fix this stuff. This has got to get sorted. And then as I raised my own divine masculine and came to balance within my own feminine as well, what I'd noticed is when I had a relationship with the divine feminine who'd done some work but not a whole lot, there was still a big gap here. So that caused a lot of relationship imbalances, and the emotional ups and downs went up and down like this, and it just means the relationship it lasts a little bit longer than when you were here and further separated, but it was still, it still had some things to iron out. And of course, as I was probably here at that stage, we were probably quite even in a way. We did a lot of good healthy work, we did a lot of personal development. But then any time that an issue came up, I would go off, meditate, find out the cause, clear it, clean it out of my body, and keep doing my work as fast as I possibly could. So I got myself up to here by strengthening those weaknesses, raising my vibration, dealing with stuff efficiently. And then they created still an imbalance here between the former partner who was at the divine feminine stage there, because she didn't want to face her emotional stuff. So, as a result, ups and downs. And then, of course, it got to a point where every time we were together, she'd have a big emotional outburst. And I'm like, well, it's your issue with your dad, but okay, well then that means I've still got my issues with my dad to deal with, often, and deal with it. And it just became way too much hard work, because ideally we'd like to come back to an emotional balance that's nice and easy to flow with and is comfortable. And what I've noticed, once I've got my divine masculine and feminine balanced and sorted, and that's alignment in organs and both mentally and spiritually as well, once I got balance within myself, it was much easier to find beautiful goddesses who have their emotional stuff and their health and their diets and their spirituality at the similar level, and there was an ease and grace about the relationships. There's always been comfortable and open communication. There's not so much grr. And then as one rises, once you've achieved a certain level of balance, it's much easier to rise and stay balanced, because anytime there's a little bit off, well then it's easy to see. It's a subtle fix. It's a communication error. Hey, can we talk about this in a conscious fashion to come to a mutually beneficial resolution? And then of course, once we come up to here, easy balance, easy raising our vibration, we come up to really realizing our divinity. That can be calling it yoga or union or raising your kundalini, many words for these things. And then of course you feel like a king of kings or a queen of queens, a god of gods or a goddess of goddesses. Ideally, when you've got both masculine and feminine, you could be a complete god and goddess and then attract another complete goddess or god. So how does that sound? Fantastic, right? So hopefully that's provided some sort of resolution and a little bit more understanding, and feel free to apply that to your lifestyle and style your life how you choose it, with your co-creation of your guidance, of course.